I have had a lot of seismic events in my life, and you all will too, and you all currently have. Let's think about it. Some point you're going to get a job. Many of you will move to a new city. Many of you will get married. Some will get divorced, right? It's just the way the world works. But then you're going to get to new companies. You're going to get to new jobs. You're going to have new experiences and meet new people. These are all seismic events in your life. So I think that we can all come together with that conclusion that you will have seismic events. Now, I'll go into a few of my seismic events, but I won't go back to when I was born because I'm pretty darn old and I'd bore the crap out of you. So we'll stick to just my working life, right? So I started out as a trade checker on the floor of the CBOE. I became a market maker at the CBOE. And then I started selling electronic trading platforms, which opened up a whole new world for me because this is after DLJ Direct and the advent of the internet changed the way you could access the markets, right? It was great. So one day I'm giving a speech at the CBOE and two guys in the audience, guys named Tom Sosnoff and Scott Sheridan. So after a little back and forth with these gentlemen trying to sell them the trading system that I was currently using, Tom says to me, Donnie, do you have any interest in coming on board with us? We're going to start this company. We want to start our own brokerage firm. I was like, oh, wow. Oh, okay. So give me the weekend to think about it. I called him on Saturday morning and I said, done. We're going to do this, right? So Tom got a group of 5 guys together and we started in a room, 8x12 room. You know, you hear a lot of these old stories from your grandfather and your father saying, we were so poor, we had to, well, when we first started this company, we were poor. We didn't have any money. When our computers at this time in 1999, when a computer came, it came in this huge cardboard box, right? I mean, they were like coffee tables now, right? So when our computers came to be delivered, we would open up the box, put our computers on top of it, pull up our chair, and that was our workstation. That's how we started. And that was a tremendous amount of fun. So that was like one of my first big seismic events. So now we have this company. I am essentially, Tom says, Donnie, you'll be our operations guy. I was like, all right, I like that stuff. So then all of a sudden one morning we sit down and we're having a meeting and he goes, Donnie, you have to be our chief compliance officer. I was like, oh man, I can't be doing that. But then I latched on to the job and I really enjoyed it. And we talked about who dreams of being a regulator. Never wanted to be a regulator, but I wanted to know the rules because knowing the rules are huge because that's how you can build your business. So I gradually worked into this job and truly really enjoyed it. We built and nurtured this business to the point where a company comes and wants to merge with us. Okay, so we do this merger. I enjoyed it. It was my first experience with this. I was kind of excited about it, right? Business is humming along. We're building this business and building this business. And what we did, the crux of our business was derivatives. At the time, equity options growth was going at a 20 to 40% clip year over year. And there was opportunity with access to the markets. So we're humming along, we're educating these customers, turning churn and burn customers into very educated spread traders and expanding their longevity in the markets and teaching them how to hit singles and doubles as opposed to everybody trying to hit a home run. That expanded our customer base, increased our customer base and assets. So we're doing really, really well. So now we merged with this company, an education company, so we increased our education to the street. And that was huge, right? So now we get to be so big, we're doing so well, and we're making such an impression in the marketplace. Here comes TD Ameritrade. And I remember walking into work one morning, and we were getting to work at the time. We were really busy. It's between 5:30 in the morning. And we all wore a lot of hats at this place, right? Because we weren't that big. And quite frankly, we liked wearing different hats, right? So I'm walking in, and Tom Sosnoff's sitting at his desk, and I come walking by, and whenever he called me Mr. Roberts, I knew something was up. So he goes, Mr. Roberts, please have a seat. So I sit down, and he goes, you know that dream that you've always had of working for TD Ameritrade? I was like, oh, did I have that dream? He goes, yeah, by the way, there's a ticket for you to go out to Omaha tomorrow morning. You got to start this due diligence process. New learning experience, new seismic event in my life. I was like, wow, I'm really going to do this. I'm going to go see TD Ameritrade. They got 5,000 people, 6 million customers. And I'm going to integrate our company in with theirs. Really cool experience. Great stuff, right? So after this due diligence process is over, I go home and I'm sitting at dinner with my family. My daughter's about seventh grade, just starting to like boys. She's getting into like playing sports and loving her school and loving her friends and everything. And I said, well, you guys have all been asking where I've been, why I'm getting home so late, and all this good stuff. I said, well, I can finally tell you. I said, tomorrow we're moving to Nebraska. She was like, whoa. She goes, are you serious? I said, yeah, I'm just kidding you. But we've been acquired by TD Ameritrade, and we're going to integrate our company with them, et cetera, et cetera. And, you know, my wife was like, all right, well, that explains all the flying around. She goes, I was wondering why you were going to Omaha, Nebraska. I never knew anybody who went to Omaha, Nebraska. Well, I did, right? But it's a great place. And I learned to love people at TD Ameritrade. At first, I felt frustrated and I felt contained because previous to that, we had 5 guys that were making all the decisions at Thinkorswim. We were the kings of 1-minute meeting. We'd run over to Tom Sosnoff's desk. We'd have the CFO, the compliance, trade desk, and tech guy, and we'd say, well, this is what we're going to do next. And we'd say, okay, go ahead, break. It was like a big, quick huddle. Well, at TD Ameritrade, much larger company, a lot more layers, a lot more governance, and, you know, so it was a new game that I had to learn. But I loved it. I learned to love the game. So then the element of, you know, derivatives trading, and John mentioned futures. Well, TD Ameritrade was a stock and mutual fund company. Before they came across Thinkorswim, 86% or something like that of their trades were stocks and mutual funds. Well, here comes Thinkorswim with their platform and their derivatives trading experience, and now it's 40% derivatives trading at TD Ameritrade. Equity options and now futures. John mentioned futures. We do have one of the fastest growing FCMs on the street. We are, I think last year, our underlying in the futures growth was about 30%. Our options on futures volume was up over 40%. So we're making great strides. And you know, if it wasn't for TD Ameritrade, would we have gotten that where with Thinkorswim? But I just love the fact that I got the opportunity just because of these events. I got to live and try a new story and learn some new tricks, right? Very important. There were other couple seismic events. I heard you mention flash crash earlier. That was huge, right? Changed a lot of people's lives. And one of the things that we could do is I couldn't control that. And there was a lot of pain because I couldn't control that. My customers were calling, phones ringing off the hook, trying to access the markets. They can't get hit on their trades. And I was like, well, Donnie, you can't control that. What can you control? Well, what I could control was allow them access to their cash. I could give them a great client experience. When they rang on the phone, I picked it up. I was there from 5 in the morning till 10 o'clock at night, all during this period of time, along with many of our employees as well, especially the margins and risk guys. They were there all the time. They were protecting our customers' money, and they were protecting the firm. And that was good. That was terrific. The other event that was almost life-changing for me was 2008 crash, right? I mean, that changed the lives of hundreds and hundreds of people. Trillions of dollars, billions of dollars lost in people's IRAs. It was catastrophic, right? But there, I couldn't control that either. So what I did was go back to how am I going to take care of my customer? How am I going to make them feel good? How am I going to support the employees? I mean, that was living history. Those of us that were involved, I remember when I would say that to the guys on the trade desk, hey, what do you guys care? You're living history. One guy told me, Donnie, if you say that again, but I enjoyed it. And we got through it and made us, these are the types of experiences make us bigger, faster, and stronger, right? So that was terrific. So the last piece of my little talk is adapting in the current market environment. So the banks fail. We have the flash crash. The world changes. The regulators change the world forever. Some of us feel they may have over-rotated a little bit, but they've created a different playing field, which has taken away from a lot of our abilities to innovate and change and create products that the clients need, because our focus and concentration is risk controls, governance, and building infrastructure to support all the new rules that have come out. But you know what? We're almost at the end of that cycle. Pretty soon, we're hoping that everybody will recognize the playing field, and the playing field will be open for all of us. And it's always good to know the rules. And I'm going to figure out the rules so we can grow into the current marketplace, right? So what's going on in the current marketplace? The growth of futures. Holy smokes. You know, when a regulator lowers their fees, which the National Futures Association did, they lowered their fees from 2 cents to 1 cent because they were making so much money off the trade volume that they could meet their needs. The growth has been 20% over the last 3 years. People are realizing the potential and the true potential of the futures markets, as opposed to just being something for the institutions. It's not that way anymore. The retail customer, you can buy and sell and trade the entire futures market with one contract. You're long, you're bullish, you're bullish. Buy any mini future. You're bearish, short it. You can trade the options on these products. The other thing is education, right? When I first got in this industry, there were very few people that were trying to educate their customers. You paid for that service, right? So education has become a huge value proposition for the brokerage firms. A better educated customer is a more valuable customer for you. So there's many ways you can approach it. John and Market Squicky. I use Market Squicky. I go there and look stuff up. Oh yeah, I remember that. And then I remember the players because I'm old and my memory isn't so good anymore. So I use this. But the education part is critical, right? For students like yourselves in schools, we have this program at TD Ameritrade called TDAU. It's a terrific little program. About 175 universities tied into this program. What we're trying to do is breach the gap between theoretical knowledge and practical knowledge. We give you a trading platform with paper money. We put a little fake money in that thing, and we drive you live quotes and allow you to test your theories and your strategies in this canned environment. And it's terrific. So you get to bridge that gap. And it's been very successful. Other items, continue education from the exchanges. I think that's huge. The exchanges got to get in the game, especially on the futures side. The equity options world learned to drive education and educate the customers about the merits of their products. The futures industry's got to do the same. Increase the pool. Increase the education to the street. Because an educated investor is a much better investor, not only for the firm that they're a customer of, but it's just a better environment entirely for the entire investing community. I think that that's terrific. You and your peers as interns and collegians, you guys are the next generation of thinkers, not only as investors, but workers in our industry and generally in life, right? So the biggest shift in this world is going to be to a knowledge-based type of environment, right? You guys can fuel that. So what is this knowledge-based environment going to create? A world of opportunity. It's going to be out there for you to grasp and create your own little seismic events, right? So, you know, one of the best steps you could take is being part of this internship program, because you got exposed to a lot of pretty smart people. A lot of people who have some terrific life experiences, right? So you've been a part of that. That was a terrific step for you guys. So, you know, in conclusion, you guys have been exposed to the tools. You will be exposed to further tools in your life, further education. You're going to have change, right? No big deal. Change is good. Some of it will not, you'd like to take with a grain of salt or a cube of sugar and wash it down, right? But it don't matter. As long as you can continue to grow and learn and change with it, you're going to do just fine in this world and in your lives. So thank you very much for your time.